System, a roguelike system in TDS that gives you buffs and nerfs to your match. Some are just a straight up nerf and buff. For every 5 waves the game will give you 3 curse options. Everyone gets to vote on what curse to get. The curse with the most votes will be given to you. This is quite a very interesting mechanic to spice up the entire Halloween event. It helps add replayability, though it is RNG based, which mostly feels fine for most people. Unless you voluntarily suffer and desperately need the specific curse to beat the night. I'll be ranking all of these curses in the event. It will mostly be based on their general usability. Ranging from S tier to D tier, you will realize why the lowest is D tier later on. Or maybe you already did. Some of the curses are bugged right now which will affect the rankings. Alright, the first curse we have is the Justice Curse. This curse gives you a free 10% damage buff if you happen to have a base health of under 25% or under 25 HP. This curse seems easy to activate if you could control the amount of leaks you get on wave 1. Except there's one tiny issue. It doesn't work if you applied the curse after you reach below 25% HP. It only works if the base health is updated while you're still under 25 HP. So if your base HP is reduced while the curse is active, then you should get a free 10% damage buff for the entire game, until you're over 25 HP. Healing works the same too. If you heal from 15 HP to 20 HP, you'll still get the 10% damage buff since you still meet the HP requirement. Better sell that medic though. This curse is an overall buff with no disadvantage whatsoever because we will never need to leak again on later waves. So this curse will be on S tier. It does not synergize well with the Fool since you will always have 100% full HP cause your max HP is set to 1. Or so that's what I originally thought. If you have noticed, I have specifically stopped saying percent. That's cause I believe the curse doesn't actually base it by percentage, but rather, a value. Which is why the Fool can surprisingly work, even though technically we're at full HP 1/1. This only works if we pick Justice first, and then the Fool. In that order. Make sure not to get any shield HP though, that will get the buff removed. Chariot, a curse that gives you 15% fire rate debuff. Basically, your tower shoots 15% slower, in exchange for a damage buff on the last wave. So you basically have to suffer a lot of waves by a bit to get more DPS for the boss. It's an interesting curse, the only problem is, the disadvantage heavily outweighs the advantage. Unless you got lucky and it shows up on the final wave, which is kinda silly, and I guess you can mitigate the advantage so the debuff isn't too bad by getting it later. Fortunately, the debuff is not too noticeable for night 1. But not on night 2 though. This curse would have been low B tier since it's only good for one wave at the cost of performing worse on several others. It doesn't stop there. This curse does not work currently, it just gives you a debuff and nothing on the last wave. You get to keep the debuff on the final wave too. I hate how this was reported for a while, but it's still bugged. If I could use my voice I would make a rant about this. So this curse going straight to C tier, lowest of C tier. The Sun. This curse gives every enemy a stalling immunity and burn immunity at the cost of every single tower gaining a long buff that grants every detection. Every single tower that couldn't target or damage flyings, hiddens, and leads should be able to do so. This is pretty helpful if you happen to be bringing minigunners since there's this one funny lead enemy in the late game that's also fairly tanky. This curse would make your typical stalling tower like Freezer and Electroshocker useless for stalling the enemy. Though, there are stallers with a unique way of stalling an enemy so this nerf is pretty niche. Except when you have enemies like Nullbeast. Guess Night 2 made this curse less niche. It's still a good curse to pick though, just think twice before adding it. Which is why it's on A tier. This curse helps nullify the effects of another curse called the Moon which gives every enemy hidden. This curse just makes it a must pick if you happen to have that curse. The Moon. You know how this curse work. But its buff is that you get an extra 10% range buff. Doesn't seem to be a lot but it's nice to have. Again, the Sun makes its nerf useless. But you know what else makes it permanently useless? Your ace pilot. This tower can grant nearby towers of its landing pad a permanent hidden buff at level 4. There's also Firework Technician too. Because of how easy its disadvantage is nullified, this is another A-tier curse next to the sun. Temperance, this adds the mutation modifier in exchange of stun immunity for all of your towers. There is a unique mutation rate of 5% for the event. So every wave, after the enemy appears for the first time, they will start getting additional shield HP of 5% based on their max HP. So when Null Pyromancer spawns for the first time, he will still have 50k HP. On wave 23 when he shows up again with Bloated, that doubles his HP to 100k. With mutation, it's 115k total HP. Unfortunately the buff here is pretty useless, since there's only the boss that can stun your towers in the last wave. And electroshockers too. Now that Night 2 is here, even worse when they're spammed a lot. Then there's Freezer that uses Freeze to stun your towers. So funnily enough that does not work. Even worse when we can just bring Medic that does the same thing. So this curse is placed down to C tier along with Chariot. Though you can nullify the effects by getting this curse at the last wave since mutation only works a wave after it's added. It's not too bad, and there's a reward increase from mutation too. Never mind, you can't even get it on the final wave now. Along with the Fool and Chariot, it might get changed though. The Star, overall nerfs your tower stats by 5%, range and fire rate, but you will get to place more towers in total, though it's pretty inaccurate from its description. You get to place 5 more towers, not 10 towers. This curse is good if you have a spammy tower like Minigunner and Golden Soldier. Anything that allows you to place more than the original placement limit. If your loadout is filled with towers with their own individual limit and you can't get to place more than the original limit, don't bother getting this curse. The placement limit buff does not affect individual tower limit. So overall, this curse is low B tier. Death. This curse does what it is named for. You die by it adding Bloated and Nimble to all enemies in game. You get more rewards with this curse but it's equal to Temperance's mutation so it doesn't even matter. And you will die from the boss cause you don't have enough cash to kill it. It's like fighting Void Reaper on Death Wish except I think Null Commander is much faster with Nimble. This curse was made as a silly joke, all it does is hogging up the curse option. So this is going down to D tier, which stands for Death. The Tower, the final curse. This thing increases our debuff effect duration like Pyromancer's burn and Electroshocker's stun on enemies by 25% while the debuff we get coming from the enemies gets doubled of what we've got. This curse is only useful for towers that deals debuffs, and makes stalling towers even more stronger. The nerf from this curse is pretty niche and hardly an issue, so you can comfortably pick this curse if the rest of the options are terrible. Even if you don't benefit much from it, this is a pretty solid curse for high B tier. The Fool. I almost forgot to rank this curse somehow. This curse sets your base HP to 1 so you can get more cash from wave bonuses. I don't find it particularly super beneficial on its own. It's just a nice thing to have early on. But it's an easy pick because its disadvantage hardly affects us. All we have to do is to not leak, which is what we always do. And there's the Justice Curse combo. Yeah, even without the combo, this is an easy curse to pick. No thinking required. It's still a must-pick curse so because of that, this curse is S tier. Those are all of the curse rankings. Here's the full list of my rankings. Most of this are based on Night 1, it should still be the same for Night 2. It's really surprising that TDS features this kind of system, even though it's unique to the event, which is temporary. Kind of a bummer there. But hey, at least it can't be ignored like Frost Invasion's Siege Machine mechanic, right? Right? Dear Lord, never mind, they fixed it when Night 2 dropped. I kept this bug long enough. Anyways, like if you like the video, subscribe if you want to see more of this and a potential strategy for the event. Comment on what you think are the new rankings now, or if you still agree to all of these. If you happen to find some weird codes here that gives out a free premium battle pass, they should look like this format, spaces should be included. Good luck finding on the last one. Thanks for watching. Actually I'm gonna give you a fragment of the last code. See you in Night 3, good luck.